Imagine having all your notes, your ideas, important information perfectly organized and accessible at any time or anywhere. Maybe you're a student juggling assignments, a professional managing a project, or you're someone that just likes to keep everything in order. Today, I'm going to show you how to use Microsoft OneNote. Hi, I'm Jamie, and welcome to Teachers Tech. In this video today, I want to show you how you can use OneNote to boost your productivity, creativity, and organization, no matter your needs. We're going to start at the basics of understanding OneNote so you can start using it right away. Let's get started. To access Microsoft OneNote, you can do this in a few different ways. Now, I'm at OneNote.com, and I'll put the link down below in the description. You can go ahead, if you have a Microsoft account, sign in right here, or you can sign up for free as well and use it completely free online. You can also go ahead and download it, and if you're part of the Microsoft 365, you might already have it downloaded on your computer, but if not, you can go ahead and download it here. I'm going to be showing you today from a Windows computer, but you can also download it on Mac. And also, there's the apps for your phone or tablet that will sync everything together. Before we create a brand new notebook, I want to give you a quick tour of what to expect in the navigation in Microsoft OneNote. Over on the left, I already have a notebook created here. You can see the notebook is just called Jamie at Work, and we can have multiple workbooks, and I'll show more about that in a moment. Inside each notebook, we have sections. We can name these sections whatever we want, and just for this purpose of an example, I called it Section 1, Section 2, and I can go ahead and add new sections, and at any time, I can change the order just by simply dragging them around. When I click on different sections, you can see that there's going to be different pages in each of these. So on this first section, I have two different pages with some notes. And with notes, I could go ahead and type notes in. I could put tables. I can go and use my draw tools to mark things up. I could insert pictures, and I can still draw things on top of these pictures. I can even play a video inside of OneNote. So you could collect a bunch of videos, and then you could go ahead and watch them right from OneNote. Other things you can do is if I had a PowerPoint, let's say if I had a prof give me a PowerPoint, I can go ahead and just drop it into a OneNote page, and then I could go ahead and highlight different parts of this with the markup tools, or even adding more notes as well. If I move up to the top, we have our different tabs. If you're familiar with Microsoft, we have our tabs across the top, and within these tabs, we have our ribbon. Now, I'm under a simplified view of the ribbon. If you're used to Microsoft, if I move over to the far right, I can go back to my classic ribbon. And if you've used Microsoft, this is what you might be more used to seeing, the large one like this. So that's a quick overview of just some navigation and what we're going to be working on. Let's go and start our first notebook now. This is just an introduction to Microsoft OneNote, so we're going to keep things quite simple. Make sure you check out my tips video that I'll follow this up with so you can dive deeper into some of the great features of Microsoft OneNote. To create a brand new notebook, if I go up to the tabs across the top here and select File, you're going to see New here on the left. Now, the first option after I select New is where do I want this notebook to be saved? Do we want it to be in OneDrive, which is in the cloud, that then you can access it from anywhere, anytime, or do you want it to be on this computer, and then you could go and double click and select a spot from there? For this example, I'm going to save it on OneDrive. I'm going to go ahead and create a notebook, and I'm going to call it New Product Launch Project Plan. Now, whatever you need to use OneNote for, what I'm going to show you today will work for any of them. The other thing I want to point out is that I have multiple Microsoft accounts, and you want to make sure you're in the correct account and where you're saving this. If I just click on my name up here, you can see what account I'm in, and you can quickly just click on the other account or add accounts. So maybe you had a business account, a school account, or personal account. You just want to make sure you're in the right one. Once you have that all sorted out, just go ahead and click Create Notebook, and it's going to give you an option to do right away. Do you want to invite people to this notebook so you can collaborate in here? So that's a great idea depending on what you're working on, but you can also invite them later. So I'm going to choose Not Now. Now I have my brand new notebook. And if I would look over on the left, I have this notebook. This shows me that it's syncing with the cloud when you see those arrows on it like that, and those will disappear in a moment. And once I have this new notebook, I can go ahead and start creating my new sections. But I can still jump back to this notebook that I had before, but I can go back and forth. So you can have all these different notebooks, whether it be for different projects or different subjects in school. If you want to adjust how things look in your OneNote, here's a couple different options. First of all, I'm in the white theme right now. If I wanted to be in a dark theme, if I go up to File and I go down to Options at the bottom here, under the General right here, OneNote Options, if I go to the very bottom, you're going to see that where we have some personalization. Right now, I'm under the white, and if I could go to black, and if I hit OK, you can see how it changes. So if you wanted to work in a different theme, you can go ahead and adjust it through those options. I'm going to just keep it in this case to the white, but you can make that quick change. The other way you can change how things look for you specific to each notebook would be if you go up to your view, you're going to notice that you have different views you can work from. You could go to a full page view. So if I click on this, at this point, it opens up a full page that I can be working on. If I want to go navigate, you can see how I can navigate to different notebooks, but you can get one page at a time. I have quick pen, and I could just hit those arrows to go back. And you can see there's a few different options. Now, the other thing is if you wanted to have, we're in the vertical tabs, but if you wanted horizontal tabs, if I select that, now I'm going to have my sections across the top. And if I wanted a new section, I could go ahead and place it here, and we have different pages. Any of these things too, as I grab the handle, you can see how I can make more room just by grabbing them. Before I start adding new sections to this notebook that we just created, you can go and collapse other notebooks if you want a bit more room. So by collapsing, you can just click the arrow here, and it's still available to quickly open. If you don't need a notebook to show up here, you can actually close it as well. If I right click on this, notice at the bottom I have closed this notebook. That doesn't delete the notebook, it just closes it. So maybe you had a class and you're finished the class, you don't want to delete your notes, that's still going to be saved in your OneDrive or on your computer or where you saved it. You can go ahead and open these notebooks again. If you go back up to File and I select Open, you'll see that I have that notebook right here, and I can go ahead and open it again, and once it connects with the cloud and refreshes, I have that information again. So you have some options there of what notebooks you want to show. I'm going to keep this one closed and just work on this new one. So let's go ahead and create a new section. We have a new section automatically because it created one for me, but I don't really want it to be named New Section. I can rename this simply by right-clicking on it. And when you right-click on any of these, you get to see a few different options here as well. Rename is right at the top, and this is what I'm going to do. And rename it, I'm going to call this Project Overview as one of my sections. If we want to title our pages, we can just go over to the page and then place a title up here, and notice that the page name gets updated. Go ahead, add a new page, select the name. Now, depending on how you have your things organized, you can create this as you go along, or you can have it all structured prior. That's all up to you. And these pages can be dragged up and down depending on which one you want to have in place, just like the sections. So if I was adding a new section, I can go ahead and select it. I can go and rename it from what it has here as new section by that right click again, and then have it called Market Research. But maybe under a new section, you want kind of a section with subsections under it. What I can do in this case is if I right click, I'm going to hit enter first, right click. Rather than going to new section, I want new section group. What this will enable me to do, notice I have a collapse right here. So I can put many sections together, and each of those sections can have multiple pages as I need, as many pages as I need. So for example, under this section here, maybe I want this group to be called, it's going to be about product development. So I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to go and give this a new section now, and we can see how it's underneath. So under this one, maybe I have a one called product design, and I can go and rename this one, and I can call this one product design here. As I add a new section under here, you get to see how all these different ones are in here. So maybe I have another one called development timeline here, and then I can have multiple pages under each of these. So it gives you a different way of structuring, and you can really see how this works. Like kind of if you were used to a bit more of just having a binder, this methodology would make sense in your brain. Now, where everything happens is on the pages. The sections that you create are just part of that organization to make everything run smoothly. Now, when we get to a page, if we want to add content, we can do this very simply. The first thing I just want to change is actually my view, so it's a little larger for you to see. So if I go over to view, I could click on page width and notice how it jumps up, or I could change, let's go to 200% here, just so you can see a little bit better. And if you don't want a white page, you'll notice that you have different options from page color, where I could even pick my own color or select a color they have. I can add lines if I wanted to. We have different lines that we could add through here, and you can actually just simply go back and choose none for any of these as well. Now, when we want to start typing, we can just click wherever we want to start typing, and then we can just type like normally. And any of this information that we type, as soon as I go back and highlight it like this, you notice I have the editing features just like in other products here, that I can go through, change color, I can change my font and make all these changes in here. So I can type out my notes at this point, and I can still move them around. So you can drag this to different points through here. Going through and typing is pretty self-explanatory. Click where you want, type what you want, adjust to what you want it to look like. Take advantage of copy and pasting different text, images, and placing videos in. Let me give you a few examples. If I go over to something like Microsoft Word, and maybe I have a chunk of information from a document someone shared with me or I created that I wanted to put in as my notes, I could just go Control-C for copy, come over here, click anywhere that I want, Control-V for paste, and I have that information, and I can still adjust it, move it around where I'd like it to be. Other things I can do is put images quickly in. Under the insert, you're going to notice that we do have pictures that I can go from file. So if you have a picture from your computer that you would like to add to here. So if I was going to go to my screenshots, I have lots of different ones in here. I could go from my computer and place it in. The other thing that I can do is if I was on a website here, let's look at these dog ones here, and if I could go simply copy image, I could click in here and paste it in. I can also just simply drag them over as well. So if I click on this, drag it over and drop it, it's that easy. So you can see if you're taking notes, this allows you to do it in a hurry. If you come across a video, maybe you want to just go to the URL up here, copy it, find a spot where you would like it, go and Control-V, paste it in, you're going to see that the video will even play inside these different pages that you have. So if I go ahead and hit play now, it's a great way to curate so much information. And another thing I want to point out, under the insert, we have screen clipping. So a screen clipping, and I'm going to go ahead and change my page here. It allows me to clip a screenshot. So if I find something on the internet and then I was going to go to screen clipping, it allows me to go pick whatever I want here, and then it will put that image inside here. So you can see how fast I'm working on these to add all this information. If I want any of it gone, I can go ahead and hit delete. I can create that, hit the handle up top, hit delete, and it's gone. You can also add files. So like the PowerPoint I showed you at the very beginning, if I click file attachment and I was looking for different things on here, so on my desktop I have a OneNote with the dog's PowerPoint in here, I could hit insert. why there's two different options. So attach file will give you a link to the actual file, and then there's insert printout. So let me quickly show the difference. So if I attach a file, now this is just a link to the file, but maybe you want to take notes. So what I'm going to do is just delete this, and I'm going to go back to attach file again. This time when I insert it, I'm going to go insert printout, because now if someone was handing you a PowerPoint and you wanted to mark it up and take notes with it, this will add that PowerPoint, all the slides in here, and then you can go ahead and add more notes. And I'm going to show you the drawing tools in a moment, and I'll come back to this and mark this up a bit. Another thing that can help for organization is linking. Now linking, if I go ahead and just highlight a word here and go up to link, you'll see that the text to display is successfully what I highlighted. Where do I want it to go? Well, I could go ahead and put a link in here. When I hit OK, now this is going to be a hyperlink to where I wanted it to go. If I just go Control Z, it undoes my steps there, but I could also link it to somewhere else. So if I wanted to go through maybe somewhere on a different section or page as I go through, I could go find where I wanted it to be. So maybe I want this to be under the stakeholders. I hit OK. So now when I click it, it brings me to this. So maybe you want to connect your notes to a different spot, and then you can just, it will automatically go to that notebook, that page, that section to help you out. Tags are a fantastic way to stay organized in Microsoft OneNote. Under the Home tab, if we take a look at tags right here, let me show you how easy it is to work with them. Let's say we go to a section here of different notes that we're taking, and we find a part that, you know what, this is important. And I could highlight this, drop down on my tags, and I can see importance right here. So you can see that there's these most common used ones right through here. I can click important. I can even go through different ones, and you can see how they have definition or remember for later, and how it starts to change things in there. Even to have a checklist tag, a to-do tag, I can click from right here. Then I can go back and click it as a check mark later. So that's great to help keep things looking nice on the page, but the real power comes in with find tags. Because now if I go to find tags, I have critical, you can see different ones, important through here. These are links to those tags. So if I click on this one where there's an important one, this was in project summary right here. So if you know you're at a place that you want to remember and you want to just quickly get back to it, use tags. You can group the tags by section, title, date, note text, and then you can go do the search through whatever notebook that you want, create a summary page, and you can also do customized tags. So if I click customize tags, you can go through and create a new tag that will fit exactly what you need. The draw features in Microsoft OneNote even make it more powerful, especially if you're using OneNote on a tablet. Then you can have your pen out, marking up all your notes, adding to it, and making them even more meaningful. Now, under the Draw tab, I'm just going to take a quick look at the drawing tools here. You'll notice that there's default pens that will be and highlighters that will be set for you, that you can quickly select any of these ones. When they're selected, then you can start to draw however you would like. You have the highlighter tools that you can go over top of any of these. If I want to make adjustments to any of these pens, once I click on them once, there's a drop down. You can change the thickness as well. So if I wanted it thinner, I could just quickly adjust it and have a thinner pen. And if I drop down, you can make quick changes to the color. When you see the pen change, it's going to be that color. We can also go to eyedropper. So if you see a color you'd want to steal from, maybe it will be this brown in the background. If I click on this, it becomes the color from that image. So it pulls that color right from it. And then I can go through and make those adjustments, and I have that brown. So you can make some quick adjustments to the drawing tools. You can even add more pens to have quick access, or you can add a highlighter if you wanted a specific color, maybe a purple here. So if I pick purple, and then you can go through and just always have that quick way to accessing it. I want to point out, when you're on your draw tools, a lot of people will forget that they're on their draw tool and they'll be trying to grab something in the background. Make sure you go back to your select and then you'll be able to select your objects at that point. So just sometimes people forget what they're on with the draw tool. There are shapes as well. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this. I just want to point out you can draw if you needed those arrows or different shapes. You can quickly add them from here. But make sure pay attention to that tips video I have coming up, because I'll show a few more options inside the draw tab. Lastly, I want to talk about collaboration in OneNote. If you go up to the top, you'll see share, and you have some options up here. If you wanted to just email a copy of a page that you're working on, you could go ahead and choose this and it'll make a copy and send through email. But if you want to work together and collaborate, you can share your entire notebook. So if I select this one, this is where you can make some customization to the options. Do you want anybody with the link to edit? If you did, you could go ahead and add the group or the names through here, or you could go and copy this link and send it in an email. When they click the link, then they'll be able to be collaborators on your OneNote notebook. But if you wanted a quick change, if I click on that arrow, notice I could go to specific people, and I can also change it to view only, so they could look at everything, but they won't be able to edit. So once you do this, so if you've set this up with people and you've set this out so that they can share, an important thing to know is the history tab over here, because you'll be able to look through recent edits. So I could go back and look any edits today, since yesterday, last 7 days, and so on. I can also find by author. If I knew all the names of the different people that I'm collaborating with, I could search for that and see what they have worked on. So it makes a great place for collaboration. So take advantage of sharing your notebook, and this can help you a lot of getting things done. So what do you think about OneNote? Is this something you could see yourself using to help yourself stay organized? Let me know what else you want to learn about OneNote. Like I said, stay tuned for that tips video, because I'll go through some of the important features that I didn't talk about in this beginner's video. Thanks for watching this time on Teachers Tech. I'll see you next time with more tech tips and tutorials.